So yeah, this is Otakon 2021. I'm Nigerian. This is Terrell.
Nigerian Terrell?
Yes.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yes. I guess the first question is, first of all, we'll just start with a soft question. Just how's the experience been for you? I know it's been a little bit crazy with your scheduling, but overall, are you enjoying
awesome. I had 9 conventions lined up at the beginning of 2020, and they all went away. So this is really like my first rodeo. I mean, I've been to plenty of conventions before, but this is kind of the first one I was ever kind of like a larger guest at.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. The team has been great. I have an awesome handler that's been kind of helping me navigate everything.
Yes.
So it's been real smooth.
Yes.
Exhausting, but smooth, you know.
By all means, give them a shout out because we appreciate
handling.
for
sure.
Yes, definitely.
The Otakon team has been fantastic.
So yeah, my question, with your ex-military background as an ex-Air Force officer, considering that all the experience, knowledge, and obviously thank you for your service for that, what skills and what craft could you take from your time and experience with there to translate into this new journey into voice acting and in acting period?
Honestly, the thing that I get the most feedback on, now, like, I don't work with other actors, so like I don't know what it's like to work with an actor, right? It's just, I'm never in that other seat. But a lot of the feedback I get is like, I'm always on time, I am always disciplined, I'm always focused. Like I'm never there to like screw around, I'm just there to get the job done. And I think that's kind of like, that whole professionalism aspect from the military has really helped me. The other thing that I was actually talking about on my panel yesterday is like the whole comparative philosophy of stakes. So if you look at the stakes from my previous career and you look at the stakes of voice acting, not much can make me nervous. You know? It's like nobody's gonna die if I mess up a line. So like that's nice. It kind of keeps me relaxed. It keeps everything in perspective. Like I don't get the shakes if I'm in the room with Nolan North or something like that, or Troy Baker. It's just like, we're all people just acting like idiots.
Not a little fast truck.
Yeah, it's just like it's no big deal. It doesn't matter who I'm working with or what property I feel comfortable on.
That's good. Would it be safe to say then you can categorize voice acting as being therapeutic for you then?
In a lot of ways, it can be kind of cathartic. It's always nice to I think stories in general are cathartic any way you can experience them in books, movies, on either side, on the consumption side, on the production side, whatever you are, like there's something cathartic about art and the way that we produce it and the way that we share it with each other. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Obviously, I mean, you have a plethora of characters on the roster. Specifically to the Fire Emblem thing, has that kind of like boosted up your resume a little bit? Has that opened up doors? Like, I didn't think the game would be as big as it was. I've played Fire Emblem games in the past, but this seems to be a little bit more character oriented. So like, I guess I don't know, kind of your hand in like picking this, like how has this kind of experience, like playing that character, kind of changed everything going forward?
It's been explosive. Like I never ever expected, because like you said, Fire Emblem is a very well established franchise, but it wasn't like this. It wasn't like Three Houses.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, like I don't think the team at Nintendo expected it to be the way it was. Like, because I've had many conversations with the guys who are like, whoa, this really took off. And I just don't. I mean, it was a great game. They knew they were doing great stuff with it. And the fan response was incredibly positive even before the game came out. I remember, because I had been recording in 2018, right? 2018, the game came out in 2019. And I remember only about like 6 months before the game came out, when I was doing some final pickups, Patrick Seitz, who was the director, was like, you see like how people are reacting to Claude? I was like, people are reacting to Claude? The game's not even out yet. Why would people be reacting to Claude now? And so he showed me some stuff, and I was like, oh, this is going to be big. This is going to be a huge thing. And it was. It really was.
Talking about big, voicing the iconic Bumblebee here, and the internet and all of just anybody who's a consumer of media has been going nuts after the conclusion now of War of Cybertron, which is on Netflix here. What an honor, I have to say. And considering when I saw you were coming here for it, I was like, well, that's time savvy. Well, what has that experience been? It's really not even an easy question to ask here. This is Bumblebee. You voiced Bumblebee in one of the biggest franchises of all generations, but here we are.
Bumblebee has been an experience, but the cool thing about it was that I didn't have to step into like any predefined conception of Bumblebee. When the series was kind of pitched, it was pitched as a completely different kind of story, grittier, on Cybertron. It is a war story at its core, and like a kind of depressing one in some aspects.
Yeah.
And Bumblebee was not like, I'm a plucky Autobot, let's roll out. It was, I'm a gun runner and I hate both of you.
Yeah.
You know, like, I hate you, Optimus, I hate you, Megatron,
Yeah.
I'm just here to get paid. So it was really cool to kind of put a new spin on Bumblebee that's not your typical, like, kid thing.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I mean, you know, how bad could it be?
I like it. I love the idea of seeing characters we grew up on mature with us, you know. So it's
great.
so badass.
It's great.
Kind of my off-topic question, but what is kind of like I would say a meal that you have to have on a weekly basis, like after all is said and done, the work, like something that you have to go get?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe ramen. If I can find, it's hard to find good ramen sometimes.
It is. It really is.
If I can get good ramen, if I'm ever in an area near this place called Sujita in LA, like I'm stopping. Period.
Stop the
It doesn't
plane.
matter like what time of day. Like I'm having ramen for breakfast, whatever.
Clipping that out. Make sure we all know about this.
But like as far as like a meal I have to have every week, I don't know. I cook it. I cook a lot of different things, so it's like I change it up.
I don't know if you had like a specific thing, like this is what I have to kind of get you in the mood for a character, or like okay.
No, I don't think so.
So going back to Fire Emblem Three Houses, you know, is there a moment in that game in a recording that just really connects with you?
Claude as a character was really interesting in that he always kept a lid on it. Even when everything was going to crap, he was still kind of like almost not taking it seriously. He came off as like not taking it seriously, the way he interacted with people. And that resonated with me on a personal level, just with my military experience.
Yeah.
Like I went to a military academy. Claude went to a military academy. And that whole like you can't let it crush you, or you end up like Dimitri. You know, like that's really what it was like. That really kind of resonated with me. Like his attitude on like, wow, this is everything's gone to hell in a handbasket, but I don't know. There's muffins in the handbasket somewhere.
For that particular recording, were you guys just doing individual lines, or did you at any point have like people in the room to kind of feedback off of like the lines, or?
Almost all video game recordings are done solo,
with
the exception of like full motion capture where you're wearing the suit with a little light bulb looking things on them. Then you'll be on what's called the mocap volume of the stage with other people. The only thing that does recordings with other people is like network animation, where you'll all be like I'm in a series called Lego City Adventures. We all record in the same room. Pre-pandemic, we all recorded in the same room at the same time. But one of the great things about Fire Emblem, why I think all the performances ended up being so good, is that you had the full context of the script in front of you. You knew who you were talking to. You knew what you felt about them. And many times, Patrick Seitz, the director, would either play in the other actor's recording, or he would kind of like read with you. So you always had like the feeling that you were talking to someone, which unfortunately in many video games, that feeling is completely absent. You don't have someone to talk to. You don't have the context. And then your performance mostly becomes like your best guess of why you're saying this.
Yeah. So we asked this question kind of yesterday, and I feel like we may possibly get the same answer. But with the range of characters you have voiced, have you ever listened back to a character and was almost shocked that was you that did it?
A couple of times, especially if, oh man, I did this voice for, Legends of Runeterra, which is like a competitive card game made by the League of Legends company, right? And I did this like, he was like an evil fish, whatever. And so like it was not a normal voice for me. I'm not usually like a big gruff guy, but I kind of put on, and it was whatever it was. And then they processed it, and I listened to it back, and I was like, oh man, who was that guy? That guy sounds scary as hell. That was one time where I was like, oh wow, that's neat. It happens every once in a while.
That's awesome. Be a fan of yourself too, right?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's so good.
I guess last but not least, if anything that's not bonded by NDA that you can discuss that's coming up.
Yeah, I get that question all the time, and it's so unfortunate that like there's a huge disparity between like the on-camera world and the voice acting world. On camera, it's like as soon as they get the role, they're talking about it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And like the PR gets so hyped up and pumped up for on-camera stuff, movies and television shows. Voice actors very often, like, we don't even find out that the game got released until like after it got out. So like I literally have a spreadsheet where I go and like I list like, okay, I did this character for this game on this date, and I'll go back periodically and check it and try to see like, did this game come out?
Yeah.
Because like I have no idea.
Yeah.
So in this case, I have nothing that I can talk about right now. And that's normally the thing. The only thing that was like really was Bumblebee, like because it just came out on July 29th. So like that I could hype up, but that was the only thing not under NDA that I can talk about. There's one, I think they're going to announce something, another game that is going to announce in the next like week or two, but I'm still, you know, tight-lipped until then. So
If it's Shadowverse, IMDb already got it.
I know, right?
I know that was the final question, but I do want to ask one other thing.
Sure.
Considering, again, once your background, you spoke about discipline. What advice would you put forth to anybody else wanting to come into this profession? Because I think the things about being time savvy, I mean, of course that works in this profession, but that translates across the board. So if there's anybody willing to step into a new profession, yet alone voice acting, what would it be?
So the way that I spoke about this yesterday in a panel, because a lot of people ask me like, how do we get into voice acting? Brute force.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I got into voice acting. And I asked the audience, I was like, how many auditions do you think I've done in the last 7 years? And someone was like, 75. And I was like, are you kidding me? You think I've done 75 auditions? I've done 54,000 auditions in the last 7 years. 54,000. Because I went out and I tried to grab everything I could. Didn't matter if I thought I was good for it, I just wanted the experience. And then through that, I kind of like whittled down like, okay, I'm booking a lot of this. People like me as this like kind of easygoing, earnest guy next door. They're not booking me for like the inner world. Like that's not my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
They're not booking me as it works. Thank God, because it hurts. So just go and do. Don't prepare. Don't be like, oh, I gotta wait. I gotta make sure my demo is good. I have to go to class. Just go audition. They're already gonna tell you no. Just you might as well learn something while they're doing it.
Right.
So that's my advice.
I appreciate that.
Go do.
Thank
Stop
you.
preparing. Go do.
Yes, thank you, thank you so much. So
course.
we're on out time, but that is something I really appreciate hearing, and I hope our audience and our fan base gets to hear that
Of course.
as well.